Hey guys, what's going on? It's Noah from AppVision, and this is Gangstar Vegas. This is Gameloft's latest entry into the Gangstar series, followed by its predecessor, Gangster Rio. For those of you who don't know, the whole franchise is basically Gameloft's take on Grand Theft Auto. Now, before we get into detail, you should know Gameloft's popular mainly for making console-like games on phones, which is why you'll be seeing several more reviews of their games in later videos. So, what's my take on this game? Well, for the expectations of a fan of the series, it came across painfully mediocre. It seemingly has taken the same route of many blockbuster games these days and just making a sorry, unappealing upgrade. It would feel much more appropriate to be an update than to bring up the hype of creating a whole new $7 game. Granted, the huge open world does take place in stunning Las Vegas, but due to its abysmal graphic rendering, it will never come across to you as too stunning. And that's probably my biggest complaint with this game. No matter where you ever go, if it's by boat, car, or plane, you're always going to be staring at that frustrating rendering line, which Gameloft has just made blatant when you're playing it. Unfortunately, it doesn't stop there either. You play as Jason, a remarkably skilled boxer who accidentally gets into some trouble when he wins a match. A few strings are pulled and he ends up trapped into the gangster world, meaning that you'll do handiwork for other people in return for them resisting the urge to shoot you in the head. That handiwork, though, can become quite tedious whenever it comes to navigating Jason around through this open world, as the left joystick is much too sensitive, leading your character to climbing up poles and slot machines instead of running around them. And it doesn't stop there either. Driving is conducted with two arrows on the left side of the screen for steering and two small gas and brake buttons on the right, which can become quite confusing at times. You do, however, have the option of using the gyroscope as a simulated steering wheel, but it becomes quite frustrating as you're trying to see what you're doing at the same time. Additionally, combat is just a disaster waiting to happen as it's ridiculously unrealistic, and apparently unarmed enemies require a never-ending amount of bullet fire to send them to their death. And these are all flaws of its predecessor, and it's a real shame that Gameloft didn't do better here. That isn't to say, though, that the whole game's a total failure, because really it's far from it. Look, what these developers clearly learned from the previous installment of this series was just how bland its environment was, which is why they recreated a much more intriguing and relatable environment by recreating a huge version of the City of Sin. But, as any fan of the series would know, what makes their playground so fun are those big bad guns, and Gangstar Vegas doesn't let you down by any means. The vehicle selection, weapon inventory, and apparel are all conveniently located from the main menu, acting as your sort of shop. Sadly, though, each of them have an extremely overpriced price tag, but fortunately, Gameloft has made an interesting way of racking up the dough for said items. First off, the shallow and repetitive missions pay very well, in addition to a new property system. Okay, you'll buy a hotel or something, and then you can come back X many hours in real time and receive money for it. I mean, it's nothing that we haven't already seen before, but it really does build up over time, and it was smart that Gameloft included this in such an appropriate environment. So despite its glitches, awful rendering, and picky controls, it's still a Gangstar game that any fan of the franchise is sure to enjoy, due to its massive open world and different ways to explore it. Personally, though, compared to GTA 3 and Vice City, which are both available on the App Store and Google Play Store for about $5, I would put in the extra $2 for Gangstar Vegas. I mean, because overall, I did enjoy this game a lot more than the choppy and dull city of GTA 3 and Vice City. But if you're questioning whether a mobile open world game is for you, I would pass on this round of entries, mainly because they're expensive and require a massive amount of storage, as Gangstar Vegas requires a whopping 2.5 gigabytes just to initially download. So for the verdict, I'm going to give this game a 6 out of 10, for its frustrating controls and rendering time, while at the same time for its intriguing environment, variety of weapons, and vehicles. Well, thanks guys for watching this review of Gangstar Vegas, and I will see you in the next video.